Much. And back to the phone lines. We'll talk next to Archie, listening in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Archie.
Hey, Hank. How you doing? Thanks a lot. I really appreciate everything you do. My question has to do with the resurrection. I recently came to Christ. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, so I'm having difficulty untying one of their teachings. Those who died before Christ's sacrifice, are they going to be resurrected at some point and given a chance to hear the message? What's the biblical teaching on them?
Well, the biblical teaching is that throughout all of history, people are saved in exactly the same way, which is to say that Abraham was saved not after he was circumcised, but before he was circumcised. Why? Circumcision pointed forward in faith to a truth, and that truth ultimately came in the person and work of Jesus Christ. So prior to Jesus Christ, people looked forward to Jesus Christ through types and shadows. After Jesus Christ, those types and shadows have been fulfilled, so we already see the substance. So the cross stands on the fulcrum of history. Before the cross, people looked forward to the cross, again through types and shadows. After the cross, we look back at the cross, and we see that the one who was prefigured in those types and shadows has come.
Thanks. But I guess my question has to do with those that before the cross had no knowledge or understanding of the types and shadows.
Well, no, they did. They didn't have full knowledge. They didn't have the kind of clarity that we have, but they had knowledge. So Abraham was considered a friend of God, and he looked forward to a new home. He wasn't addicted to this earth. A new home whose architect and builder was God. So he looked forward to paradise restored, just as Adam and Eve did. The proto-evangel comes already in Genesis chapter 3. So certainly they didn't have the clarity, and oftentimes you can look at this maybe as walking into a room. You can kind of make the outline of the furniture out in the darkness. You can kind of see this furniture there. You can't really see what color it is, but you know it's there. So you see dimly, but when the light is turned on, when Christ comes, then you see everything clearly. But certainly, no matter where you are, you're saved in the same way. And Paul makes this explicit. You can go to Acts chapter 17, where he's in the Areopagus, and he says, from one man God made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And then Paul says this, he determined the exact times and places that they should live, and did that so that men might reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. Now, Paul can say that because no matter where you are or what epoch of time you lived in, you have the light of creation. Not only that, but God has provided a light internally, which is the knowledge of himself written upon the canvas of our consciousness. He talks about that in Romans chapter 2. So if we respond to that light, we will have the light of Christ, either through types and shadows or today, the actual light of Christ. And I've often said this, it's not the absence of truth that damns, it's the despising of truth that damns. So the idea was not that Abram had to have encyclopedic knowledge of what was to come, but he had to believe in faith that God was going to provide a sacrifice, just as he provided a sacrifice in place of Isaac.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate all you do. Thanks a lot.
You got it.